So I wanted to make this video today to give you some tips, suggestions on supercharging a Sport Trac or Mustang 4-liter. Of course, the Mustang is going to be a few differences, but here's what I learned on this long adventure of doing the Moddbox supercharger. So in my last video, I showed you how I had issues with the computer right here was hitting this the elbow right here. It was sitting like down here because of my body mounts. So now my body mounts are done and my truck is sitting considerably higher, actually about an inch or two higher. Also had some issues with that from rust with the truck, so you know that's a whole nother issue right there. If you have, you know, check the condition of your truck first before you embark on a project like this. So my suggestions: definitely check your body mounts before you start supercharging this, because that can actually get in the way. My other suggestion is make sure that your injectors are the correct style injectors that you need. I did not. I assumed they were correct. Ford actually makes 5 different kinds of injectors, and I had the incorrect ones. So that delayed us a full another like 4 days getting the correct injectors. And we didn't go over the box contents when we got it. We were missing the bypass valve, which took us a couple days to get as well. Now, it's very important to go over everything that you have for the project. Make sure you have all your parts, make sure all your parts are correct, and make sure your vehicle is in good condition to be supercharged, which I missed some of those steps in doing this. I made a few mistakes, so it took a lot longer. It took us almost 3 weeks to get this finished. So let me just show you exactly what my setup is. A lot of it's explained in my last video. I explained how this is a 4-inch intake filter here, a large adapter from Spectre, and then this is a 80mm mass airflow housing from the 2003 Mustang GT. So that's 3.15 inches. And then this here is the stock intake pipe, and then we have the PCV valve coming off of here. Now I had an issue back here with the PCV valve crushing, which was causing a vacuum leak. The way that we cured that was we actually cut down the elbow to where the plastic inside met on both ends to where it couldn't crush the tube anymore, and that fixed our issue. We ended up finding numerous vacuum leaks on these fittings over here. We went ahead, let me see if I can show you. We put Loctite, or sorry, it's a thread sealant, I believe, that we put on there. It's actually a liquid, and tightened down the hose clamps, all that stuff, to make sure we didn't have leaks after that. They don't show that in the instructions, in the pictures, or by the written instructions. So we went ahead and put it together without it and found all those vacuum leaks and went ahead and took it apart and redid it with that. So I would definitely suggest doing that right away. So one of the other issues here is the oil fill tube is in the way of the intake right here. It's kind of crushing it a little bit. Now there's one available. I'll put the part number in the description. I will update that to make sure it actually fits. It has a 45-degree angle, which would put it out over here more. So I got that on the way from Amazon, so that's a 2-day shipping. I'll have that in 2 days to be able to update if it plugs in and everything, and I'll be able to move this over here out of the way. And another thing is this belt. We need to move it one over on this, which, you know, if you have the Moddbox pulley, you won't have to worry about that. We do need to move it one over on here to right there, because it doesn't quite line up correctly that way, which that's a very, very minor thing. So that's just one thing. Just center it up on that pulley and you'll be fine. So let me just go ahead and start it up now. So you can hear it running now. It's on a bass tune, which is not a completed tune. So, you know, they advise you not to run it hard or anything like that. But it does run pretty good. Sounds good. The idle gets a little rough, and I think it does need a coupler for, it's like right behind here. It's running a little rougher than it has for a while. Running that rough. But, I mean, it's a little maintenance thing. It needs a new coupler, actually it just smooth out. And I'm gonna go ahead and put to change the oil, I need to put another port on here so that, let me turn this off, so that I almost fell, so that I can actually change the oil without taking it off, because the way that it's designed right now is actually upside down, because it's designed for the super coupe where the supercharger actually sits flipped over. So the air actually comes out of the top and goes around to a different intake pipe. So that's something that definitely needs to be done to make it easier to maintain the supercharger. And if you use anything other than the Ford oil, which is expensive and really hard to find, they recommend you change it every 30,000 miles, which I'm going to do mine at 10,000 miles because I don't know about the maintenance on this supercharger. The oil was really bad when we changed it out. We did already do an oil change on it. So that's one thing I would really recommend if you're doing this. Get one that has been well maintained, preferably rebuilt, really. I didn't want to do that because I was trying to do this low budget, and I'm kind of fixing things as I go and rebuilding things. It works for now. I'm going to get a dyno tune pretty soon and get everything running perfectly, hopefully. I don't think I have any vacuum leaks left or anything like that, so we should be doing pretty good. I think I went over this in my last video. This is not the intake that comes with the Moddbox kit. This is something that I did on my own for the increased airflow, because they recommend a larger mass airflow housing, or I believe it's called the Mafia adapter, that changes your input signal to make it a wider range so that your computer can interpret that data and fix it for the airflow, which that was like $250, whereas this part was, I believe, $22, and from what I've read, it should support about 375 horsepower. Not sure if that's entirely accurate or not, but the Moddbox kit on the highest boost only goes up to 330 horsepower, so it's pretty well covered there, I believe. I can update on that eventually if that is the case or not, but so in conclusion, for my tips and advice before you tackle this project, definitely make sure your vehicle is well maintained. Make sure that your body is not sagging to where your engine sits higher than it should be, because that will also cause hood fitment issues. I actually ended up having it was a scrape somewhere on there. Oh, there it is right there, where the pulley actually hit the hood when we tried to close it. So it didn't actually fit under the hood at first, which was very scary for me because I wasn't sure if the body mounts was actually going to fix that completely, but for sure it did. Body mounts fixed everything, all the issues we had. I ended up You can see all the liquid there. I had my power steering pump actually leaking, and it started spraying all up there, so that was an issue. So this truck did need a lot of maintenance, and I did need to do it as I went along with this. And if I didn't have another car to use, I wouldn't have been able to do this, because it did take 3 whole weeks to complete this project. So if you want to complete this project quickly and efficiently over a weekend, or say, you know, 3 days, definitely make sure you have all the correct parts. Make sure your vehicle is well maintained. Make sure of everything before you start. Make sure you have all the correct parts. And those are the things I learned over the course of this. It did cost more money than I originally intended, and I think that's really just how projects go. So, you know, anticipate that, really. Put a couple extra $100 aside for this, because it's gonna happen. You're gonna need it. So that's about all I can say about that. So I hope you enjoyed it, and you have a good day.